Welcome into the live stream here for McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. We will have a big show for you here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk lots of soccer. We're going to break down the Tottenham-Chelsea draw. We're going to talk about Liverpool and their draw the other day. We're going to talk about what's gone wrong with Man U so far.
Everybody just turned the podcast off. Everybody but Weldon. Weldon's going to be the only one that listens.
Actually, we're talking about Nick Rolovich, the former Washington State coach. He's his lawsuit against Washington State. Talk about some NCAA rules changes that Tyler says are imminent. And then we're going to get into Tyler's baby here, his 16-team.
Dude, I'm all in on this. I wish they would put me in charge. We could have this bitch done by Christmas.
Have this bitch done by Christmas.
Oh, by the way, I need to apologize real quick. I'm down again. I think I was like 13. So I'm due to go up. Today's the day.
So we'll talk about it. Tyler's got a 16-team playoff proposal. It's all laid out right here. He's upset about Deshaun Watson's 11-game suspension, although I think I talked him a step or two off the ledge.
You can't convince me. I'm full aluminum foil hat on this one.
And then at the end of the show, we're not going to do it before then because we won't get through it if we do. At the end of the show, we'll talk about the passing of Luke Knox, the former Ole Miss player who was at Ole Miss when Tyler was on the staff. So we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But I'm gonna get to the audio file and get us rolling here in a minute. Thanks for everybody for being in the stream. This show continues to grow, and we appreciate you. We've added an advertiser, might be close to a second one. So anyway, got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Clark wants to know my favorite one bar. Ooh. It's like asking me to pick my favorite
What
child.
is a one bar?
It's a protein bar, 20 grams of protein, just 1 gram of sugar.
That's too healthy for me. What is a kind bar healthy?
Not as healthy as a one bar.
Okay. Well, the wife got some peanut butter.
Yeah.
Kind bars.
Yeah.
To crush them. They're like a little bitty ones though. They're only like 100 calories or whatever.
I see it like 12.
I may or may not have like 2 or 3. So it kind of defeats the purpose. But they're really good.
My peanut butter pie is one of mine. I like the birthday cake. I like I actually like the lemon one a good bit. I like the chocolate sea salt one bar. I don't hate the pumpkin pie one bar.
Dude, I feel like I'm just like missing out on this conversation. Straight third wheel.
I was answering his question. Birthday cake's really good.
So they like eating them.
Yeah, so I usually will have one around 4 o'clock every day.
So is this kind of your like meal replacement?
It's not kind of like my meal.
It is a meal.
It is a
It's
meal.
your lunch?
It's lunch, basically.
How many calories?
About 220.
Okay, that's not bad. I used to live off of Cliff Bars and peanut butter crackers out recruiting. So I wouldn't have to stop and eat lunch.
Yeah. All right, we're going to get into the show. Thanks for everybody for being with us. Yeah, we're at the Siskey counter at 1. If it's not in the podcast itself, I don't know that it counts. So,
yeah, that's just conversation.
Yeah, so we're still at 0.
So we're calling this pre-show? Is this what we're calling it?
Yeah, because it gives me a chance to go set up the audition file and hit it on time.
Gotcha. So
it makes the editing much easier.
So if I need to drop any F-bombs, just do it before we hit the...
go ahead and get it out of the way.
Okay, all right.
All right, here we go. Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. Tyler Siskey here with me as well in the Clark Ford Studios. We'll be with you for the next, hour 15, hour 20. We don't know. We don't have a deadline.
Yeah. You got 45 minutes before I get juice, though.
We are brought to you, as always, by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, 0 sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. They're also on Twitter, so give them a follow. Hit the message thing. Tell them you appreciate it.
I sent Bob a picture. I stopped by a gas station that's not your sponsor, so I don't want to go out there, and completely sold out.
Is that right?
6 racks dead empty of rain. So I sent the picture to Bob. He was all fired up because I had this gas station is on the way home. And so I'd sent Bob a picture of it. I think it was last Friday or Saturday. They filled it back up Monday. and it was already sold out again.
How about that?
Yeah.
All right. I've got to see something here because we're going to talk about rain for a minute. And I've heard rumors about different flavors.
Are you just going to ask about the jalapeno strawberry?
I am.
It has been discontinued. I've been meaning to tell you that. I talked to Bob and asked Bob about it. He said there will still be some out there, floating or whatever, but it has been discontinued.
All right. So we've got this. I'm on their site right now.
Oh, yeah. They got some stuff.
Rainbow sherbet.
You've had that.
Had that. Lilikio lychee. I don't know.
Is that the thermogenic line? Is it a white can?
No, black can. White gummy bear. I've had that.
Yep.
Melon Mania.
Yep.
Carnival candy.
Yeah, I haven't had that one.
That sounds interesting.
I don't think I've had that one.
Mango-matic, which I'm assuming is
it's really
mango.
good. I've had it. It's been a while, but I've had it.
Sour apple, which sounds right up my alley. I like those sour apple.
That's like a
Jolly
unicorn,
Ranchers.
dude. That's like a unicorn. It is unbelievable. Can't ever find it anywhere. And somebody said,
Can Bob send us some?
Yeah, I got it. We're working on it.
Okay,
we're working on some other things too. But yeah, so but yeah, it is really. It's like a unicorn, dude. It's so good, but you can't ever find it anywhere.
Amazing. I love that the Jolly Rancher.
Yeah, you have to order it on Amazon.
That might be about to happen here in a minute. Razzleberry.
If my wife doesn't beat you to it, she likes Amazon.
Dude, the Amazon. I mean, Amazon. People buy stock in Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Amazon bought stock in my house. They just deliver so much.
My wife.
Every time I look up, and when the girls are home from college, it's like, this is why, where and why, and what are we doing?
So I got shit yesterday. So I ordered. I'm sorry. So we ordered. You just got to let them go today. I ordered 4 new TVs for the Buffalo Wild Wings. I sent you a text last night. I figured you was asleep, but the Buffalo Wild Wings will be ready to go in my house.
I was deep into a bottle of wine.
I figured.
So
I figured this much. That's why I left you alone after that.
It was an excellent Italian red. It was fantastic.
We're getting the man cave set up for next week. So this weekend we got man cave assembling, getting ready for fall. Fired up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, work expense.
I got the orange dreamsicle, the cherry limeade, which is fantastic.
All right, so he sent me. I need to find this in my thread. He sent me the 6 best sellers. Cherry limeade was number 6, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was good.
Strawberry sublime, which I'm guessing is strawberry and lime.
Yep.
Sign me up.
Sign you up. All right.
Peach fizz. I'm not a peach guy, but I know a lot of people are.
Yeah, I've not had that one.
That's interesting. And then they have the thermogenics, the True Blue, the Red Dragon,
watermelon
Warlord.
Which is what I'm rocking today.
And the jalapeno strawberry you're saying has been discontinued.
Yeah, that's what he told me. I guess it was last week or whenever we were talking.
All right, so there you go.
But yeah, no, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, all that sounds good. All right, so where do you want to start? You want to start playoffs? You want to start Rolovich, or you want to start NCAA rules?
Well, hey, you pick it, boss, because I'm just going to let everybody know when we start getting on this Rolovich deal, I'm just going to sit back and eat my popcorn and watch you cut loose. Because I know you're going to turn into me. I bet you outcuss me today.
I'm going to try not to.
This is for you cutting loose.
It's a story that pisses me off, honestly.
Oh, I know. Look, you're already starting to turn red a little bit.
Yeah.
Blood pressure.
Let's start with the NCAA rules. Because you've got a story that we got a topic that once we get to with you might not be able to recover from.
Yeah.
And I'm there on Rolovich as well, just on a completely different extreme.
This could be a really good podcast then.
NCAA rules, they're tabling the multiple transfer, the people didn't the being able to transfer twice or more without penalty, which duh.
It's really frustrating me that we're even having a conversation about it. Like, where I get pissed off is that, I mean, it failed immensely. I don't know of one person who voted for it, but why are we even voting for it? Like, if you're in charge, hey, I got this, what do you call a hand raise guy? I got a hand raise guy. Like, whose idea is this, and why are you on this committee?
I'm with you completely. It never made sense. Now, the argument that people made was, well, a normal student can transfer and transfer and transfer. I'm like, yeah, okay, but they're not on scholarships.
They're not normal.
and football players aren't normal, and
we've established that
on multiple levels. We've established that they're not normal. But this is a good sign that this is, and I've been waiting for this. There has to be market corrections,
right?
And so when you just open the gates and go, okay, here's what we're going to do. We probably need to compensate the players in some way. Okay, that's one. A one-time no penalty transfer is not a bad idea. Okay, that's another. And we got a lot of different things happening. Let's do it all at once. And so when you do that, you have this completely unsettled deal, but eventually,
with no rules, by the way,
and eventually things start to settle because markets correct themselves. You see that in stock markets.
Correct.
You see it with politics. If you see an extreme move to the right, it's usually followed by a move to the left, which is followed by a move to the right, and eventually the hope is that the pendulum stops swinging so dramatically and things settle. That's the hope, right? And so that's the hope here, and I think this is a good sign that, hey, this is a good sign that this thing is settling in. Although I think it was Pete Thamel had a story out yesterday. I think you sent it to me as well about college football breaking away and being governed.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. What you text me back, I don't know. Did y'all talk about this morning? I was preoccupied.
Briefly, yeah.
All right, so they floated that to see what you text me yesterday.
Yes, it was a trial balloon. Yeah,
I mean they're floating that to see, hey, what does everybody think about this? But I can go ahead and tell you, and I've been saying it from the jump, I'm actually a little bit excited. And if they're floating it out there, here, you got me. I've been saying it for a year. What they're going to do, and I think this is where we're going, they're going to have a commissioner of college football, and they're going to use the College Football Playoff Committee as basically the organization that runs that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so the commissioner of college football is basically going to be the top of the College Football Playoff Committee. Needs to be done. And football needs to be governed differently than every other sport. No disrespect to any other sport, but it's just different. Until the Big Ten basketball starts getting $8 billion deals and money, then you see what I'm saying? Like it's what money drives the ship. Let's go.
Well, we saw that today.
What do you think the SEC is going to get?
Chase thinks they're going to get less. I think there's no chance they get less.
There's no chance in hell they're getting less than that.
I think they get at least that and probably more than that.
I'm going to say they're going to make it even 10 just to say they got an extra zero behind the comma.
Even 10
billion.
Okay. But
they're already making, that's the thing, is like it's really not as, like, here's the thing, is it's going to basically, I think it works out to 60-something million, if I'm right on that.
Yeah, it's about 68 million per school per year.
And that's before the other stuff kicks in. Okay, that's before bowl games and all that stuff. So you're looking at,
it's $100-some-odd million.
Probably right at 100, I would guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then
it's why I've been saying this about the ACC for a while now.
And there's escalators in it as well, so it will grow a little bit. But if that's going to happen, you're probably talking about the SEC. I bet you the SEC ends up with 120 to 130 a year.
The one thing I'm going to say, and this is not popular in this part of the country, is I do think there is a tendency where we live to downplay the popularity and the pull and the appeal of so many of those Big Ten schools.
I agree.
Those are massive, massive products.
Two observations from that. I know we didn't plan on talking about this, but two observations from that. I don't think they would have gotten that if they didn't have USC coming and they didn't have UCLA coming.
Sure.
Because now they have that market.
Of course.
Okay. The next thing is Notre Dame that deal that they're trying to cut with NBC doesn't look so good anymore.
No, the only way, we didn't prepare for this part, so we'll move on in a minute. But Notre Dame's deal is, how much do you value the what's the word I'm looking for? The novelty of being the one independent. How much is that worth to you? And when I say worth to you, I mean in a spiritual, in a ego
tradition
way. Yeah, not money wise, because. And unless it's worth about $35 to $40 million a year spiritually for you, it's not worth it to stay independent. You need to join the league.
Yeah. No, and it's How much of it is scheduling and how much of it is we don't have to play in a league every year? I don't know, but looks like they're going to be less. They're going to make less money by joining the NBC than they would the Big Ten. But I bet you behind closed doors, some of those quote unquote escalators are if Notre Dame joins or not.
Oh, for sure. And the fact that that's even kind of involved in the language makes me wonder if Notre Dame is given an indication that
somebody's talking.
Yeah,
somebody that's got some stroke is talking.
We talked about this morning, and we'll probably talk about it again tonight. So we'll go quick. I did sort of enjoy the CBS tweet today.
I saw a tweet. I don't know who tweeted what, but I saw and I imagine this wasn't CBS, but somebody put the music.
Yeah, it was to like all CBS did
to all the Big Ten follies, or was it?
No.
The video I saw was like all the Big Ten making bad plays.
No, the video that CBS put out was just kind of a celebrating the traditions and colors and stuff of the Big Ten, and it was dun, da, 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 da. And they got 2 more years, and I mean it's
that's right.
This is the someone wrote this. I'm not taking credit for it. Somebody else put this out there. I think it was Andy Staples. This is the divorced couple that they're going to live in the same house for 2 more years.
Yeah, man.
It's not going to go well.
I don't know how I'm going to respond. I really don't. I don't know how I'm going to respond. I mean, that's what I've grown up with my whole life.
Of course.
Like, literally my whole life.
Well, it's a song that as soon as you hear it, everybody knows, SEC game of the week. Here we go.
Yeah, 2:30.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
Oh, it's LSU in Florida. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, you know that's the lead in to Georgia, Florida, the lead in to Auburn, Alabama. It's when Ole Miss played LSU in the big game here, when Ole Miss played Alabama in the game that they won, it was the Vern Lundquist, Gary Danielson game, 2:30 in the afternoon. And when that song comes on, I mean, the hair stands up on your arms because this is going to be decent chance. This is going to be a humdinger, if you will.
And I don't mean to be. I mean, people are probably going to think I'm crazy. Which, if you don't know I'm crazy by now, you got issues. It's your fault. But as a coach, one of my goals, like one of the things that I knew, like, okay, I'm on the right track here, is I always wanted to coach in a 2:30 SEC game. And so the first time I got a chance to do that, I'll never forget it.
Sure.
First time I got to coach in a game was here. We played at Georgia because that night was the Alabama LSU. That was their late game. And just one of the coolest. I mean, like, I was like, man.
You've arrived.
Hey, Mom, we've made it.
Yeah.
That. And the other, ironically, the other one was winning an SEC title, so I got to do both. So, it was fun. So one of my career's objectives was accomplished here in Oxford, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it. Portal window, 45 and 15 for football, 60 for spring. What does that mean?
So it's going to give a little bit of life back to coaches a little bit. So what's going to happen is after football season starts, after the championship game, and they have wording in there that there's going to be some grace for those that are participating in championship games. But basically, you're going to have 45 days at the end of the football season to declare you're transferring. And then after that, there's going to be an additional 15 days in the spring. Okay, so after spring practice, there's going to be an additional 15 days that you can transfer. But if you transfer outside of that window, you're going to be ineligible. So it's cutting down the transfer portal window into 60 days in 2 different segments. Now, the spring sports, like baseball, following the championship, they have 60 days. And if you transfer outside that window, you're going to be ineligible. Now, let's not all think things are going to be snow clouds, bunny rabbits, and My Little Ponies. Okay, because
snow clouds, what?
Snow clouds, bunny rabbits, and My Little Ponies.
Okay,
all
got
right?
it. If you're that is a new one.
If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, you know what that means. If you didn't, I feel sorry for you.
Well, I grew up. I knew about.
I'm just saying if somebody don't listen doesn't know what that means.
I knew My Little Pony.
Yeah.
I still can sing the song. I'm not going to, but I could. I can do it in my head.
You cannot.
Not the whole word, but I know the tune.
I wouldn't admit that I'm putting a public
forum. I long surrendered my man card. I mean,
it's taken. No, but here's every decision that you make, and this is one of the most valuable lessons I learned as an adult.
Yeah.
Every decision you make has consequences. Good decisions and bad decisions.
Sure.
People hear the word consequence and they think automatically bad. But when you make good decisions, there's consequences to those too. When the when you restrict that portal window down to 45 days, you know what's going to happen? The tampering is going to crank up.
But it's already super cranked up.
It's going to be, but now it's like, hey, okay, now you're in next week. Now it's over.
Yeah.
It's started and it's over before. You're going to have tampering going on basically the whole season.
Sure.
And so you're basically going to be recruiting, instead of calling a guy up and saying, hey, you want to transfer? He says, yes. He goes in the portal the next day and then comes to your place and it's over. You're going to be tampering the whole freaking time. And so now let's just say this, I'm not doing this. I haven't heard anybody doing this, but if I was running a recruiting department, all right, it's all legal.
Yeah.
Can't prove anything. But if I was running a recruiting department and I really like little Johnny, and little Johnny is at, give me a school. Let's say he's at Monroe. We like using Monroe all the time.
All right, ULM.
He's at Monroe.
The Warhawks.
And he went to Zachary High School in Louisiana.
Okay.
All right. I'm not recruiting anybody from Zachary High School. All right. But I like little Johnny. I'm going to go down and check out, see how Zachary's doing, and may go take the coach to lunch. What's going on with little Johnny? And I'm going to start working the back channels through the recruiting process where it looks like I'm going to recruit somebody else. So I'm worried about the guy that's at Monroe. This is going to be an extended tampering period. You're going to start seeing truly recruiting tampering, I guess you could say. I don't know. That's what I would do.
All right, let's jump into your playoff.
You want me to start and let you poke holes in it?
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot of it, and honestly, there's not a lot of holes to poke. There's a couple of things I don't like about your plan.
Okay.
But we'll get there. Go ahead. So
I want you to. Let's debate this thing. Okay?
Well, yeah, it'd be a lot more interesting if I debate it than if I went, oh, that's great.
Yeah,
sure.
That's how it works. And I want the fan, because they've been like they've been talking about playoffs in the chat for like 5 minutes now, so they're ready to go.
All right, here we go.
All right, so here we go. So I have been a proponent from day one. From the second it even came up, I've been a proponent of a 16-team playoff.
Okay.
As opposed to the first thing that everybody was talking about was 12, right?
Right.
All right, so
first they talked about 8, and then we talked about 12. I was always for 12 more than 8, but I will tell you that I've always thought 16 just made sense.
Yeah. So back 100 years ago, when we had this thing called FCS and 1AA, we actually called it 1AA. We had 16-team playoffs. Now it's grown and got bigger, all that stuff. But here's your 16-team playoff, all right?
Okay.
It's your 10 conferences. I'm talking about from Sun Belt to MAC to SEC. Your 10 champions.
So what are the 10 leagues? I mean,
okay, you got the SEC,
SEC, Big 12,
Big 12, Big 10, Pac-12, ACC.
Okay, the Power 5.
Right, then you got the SEC.
You already said SEC.
I mean the Sun Belt. Excuse me.
Sun Belt,
Conference USA, the American, the MAC,
and the Mountain West.
Okay. So that's 10 of your 16 teams right there. And immediately, as soon as you say that, everybody goes, "Oh shit, here we go." But hear me out.
I'm listening.
Then you have 6 additional spots.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
You take those 6 teams are picked by the College Football Playoff Committee.
Okay.
Okay. They're picking 4. So you got those 10 have been eliminated from your possible pool.
Okay.
All right. So if you go back and look, before everybody starts talking about team selection, when you go back and look at last year's final rankings in the College Football Playoff, you would have to get all the way down to the number 13 team in America before somebody was left out. I mean, so the top 12 teams, which is everybody's wanting a 12-team playoff, right? Well, the top 12 teams are in the playoff because those champions, the Power 5 champions, and a lot of times the American champion, because sometimes they call it the Power 6, they're going to be in the top 12.
Right.
All right, so you're getting basically the top 12 teams in, plus your Sun Belt champ, plus your Mountain West, whatever, right? And so the whole thing is like from 12 games to 16 games. Well, the first thing that everybody talks about is, well, it's the health of the players. Well, in a 12-team playoff, you got to play 4 games. In a 16-team playoff, you play 4 games.
I grew up in Ruston when Louisiana Tech was a 1AA team. And they played playoffs. And they played multiple games. And it was fine. That part to me, and especially now, because the knock used to be, well, you can't do that, man, because the kids aren't getting paid. Well, they're getting paid now.
Yeah.
So that's not an argument anymore.
Right.
And it stands to reason that, Look, players can cut. Ask me how I know. Players can cut NIL deals like on a one-off.
Yeah.
Okay. Turn your mic to you a little bit. Yeah, you go. You
check,
hit
check.
It. That's better. So it stands to reason that the teams, let's say the 8 teams that went to the quarterfinals, right? That those guys, all they have to do is tell their SIDs, look, I'll do the day of media thing that I have to do. Any other media, I got to get compensated. So
that is correct.
So at that point, right, the quarterback at Iowa, Dan Patrick wants him on the show. It's a fee.
Correct.
Maybe they'll pay it. Maybe they won't.
Then you don't do the interview.
Ask me how I know about how these things are working.
Hey, how do you? I wonder. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So no, I'm cool. I'm cool with that so far. Look, I'm not nuts about the Mountain West and champ and the Sun Belt champ.
Can I convince you?
Yeah, let me finish real quick, and then you can. But I don't have a major issue with it. The one thing that you're going to get people that would in this scenario, people would fight about.
Yep.
And look, there's this. We do 68 teams with the NCAA tournament. 68 teams.
Because 64 wasn't enough.
But you could do 72. You could do 76, and people are still going to bitch about it. That's just the nature. And it's fine. I'm cool with that. It's debate. It's just sports. It doesn't really matter. It's fine, right? It's cool. So you're going to have people go, those are not the 16 best teams. Louisiana Lafayette could not beat Ole Miss. Colorado State, I'm just throwing out
right.
Utah State could not beat Auburn.
Correct.
Okay, cool. And you know what? They're probably right.
Probably right.
But
St. Peter's can't beat Kentucky either.
Touche. But that would be the fun of it. The fun of it would be, I'm using Utah State. Let's say Utah State's the 15 seed.
Mm-hmm.
They go play 2 seed Ohio State. So for those kids, this game at Ohio State is the highlight of their athletic lives. And if they lose, nobody thought they'd win.
Right.
And if they win, it's the Al Michaels Can You Believe in Miracles thing. It's the biggest upset in the history of blah, blah, blah. And would people watch? Yes. They'd absolutely watch.
Bingo.
They'd absolutely watch. They'd watch for that. Would a lot of the games be blowouts? Yeah, but hey.
We watched Alabama-Cincinnati.
That's where I was going. We're 4 now, and a lot of the semifinals are blowouts. Georgia blew out Michigan. Alabama blew out Cincinnati. It didn't come across like a blowout, but if you watched it, there was never a moment that you went, you know what, Cincinnati might win. You never thought that. So we're already there.
All right. So
go ahead.
All right. I'm going to convince you. You're going to go Team Fun Belt. I'm the group of 5 man standing on the pole right here. Here we go. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Well, you've already said balls are in the air.
Yeah, balls in the air. Here we go. It's all about money these days, right? And so what we're doing is we're with the NIL and everything else and all these big TV deals, we're creating the have and the have-nots. All right. So for the betterment, I'm going to be the college football commissioner here. I'm not a fan of anyone. I'm a fan of the game. In order to create a better game, you put those teams in. Now, these Tuesday night action games mean something. Okay? And so you're going to have people tuning in.
That is true.
To watch these games. What happens
true.
when people tune into those games? What happens to the money?
It goes up because they get
the
better
revenue
ratings.
goes up.
Well, people also would get exposed. More casual fans would get exposed to what you and I were talking about a little while ago, which is some of the. I say a little while ago. 2 shows ago or whatever.
You're starting to lose track.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I do 4 podcasts on Thursday.
Yeah,
they all just run together after a minute.
You're a machine.
But you're right. Like we were talking about the Sun Belt.
Yeah.
And I very frequently the last 2 years, it's one of the things I will miss about going back to games in person is I would put, no one else can see this. You can.
Right.
I would put a lot of times a game like a Sun Belt game on this computer right here. And ULM, when they beat Liberty last season, I had that game right here. And for a little while, I was just kind of like half watching it. And after a while, I'm like, there's SEC games here and a Big 12 game here. And I'm like, right here. It was awesome. It was great, right? It was good TV.
It's good theater.
It was great theater. I mean, obviously, I had a rooting interest because I went to ULM and all that stuff. But my point is that in a scenario where, like you're talking about, look, that would have been for Liberty a disqualifying loss, right?
Yeah.
So people would have actually tuned in more. And you're right. I mean, people would watch.
Think about this. You're a big basketball guy, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, like when they have the week before the SEC tournament starts, you're actually in here. What games are you watching on Tuesday night?
The bubble games.
And you're watching the tournaments of some random team.
Yeah, because those are the teams that are getting in.
Because they may get in.
Yeah, sure.
So the attention and what's going on, the betterment of the game, people are going to start watching it. Just like because people love playoffs. I mean, like, how much money does ESPN make over the course of a year during basketball season talking about bubble watch?
Well, it's the only storyline they have.
Yeah, for like months, right?
Because it used to be the players.
First four in, first four out.
And now it's a little bit, you have some look, there will be some elite basketball players on college campuses. There will be some, NFL, NBA draft guys. But,
yeah, so
a lot of times the people that are big college basketball fans are not big NBA fans. And so it doesn't cross over.
I'm one of them.
Yeah. And so, like what drew interest for me last year, if Auburn were playing, right, and I wanted to watch Jabari Smith. Well, I wanted to watch Jabari Smith because I'm the team the team that I follow had a really good chance of having a pick in that range. And turns out I was right. You know, the three guys that I was really watching last season, well, actually four guys. I was watching Jaden Ivey at Purdue, and I was watching Keegan Murray at Iowa, and I was watching Jabari Smith at Auburn, and Chet Holmgren at Gonzaga, and the kid at Duke, whose name escapes me, who went number one, who's probably Paulo Banchero. He was probably the best player in the country last year. This season coming up, God, I'm going to get hit with this. I will be watching a lot of Arkansas. They've got 3 lottery picks.
No.
I know. And I'll put my hat on.
Can I say something real quick? How much money do you spend there?
I really don't want to talk about that.
Well, I would tell everybody to kiss my ass if I were you. Who cares?
No, not to get on the subject.
I know, but I wouldn't apologize.
The people that get on me about it, I'm always like, well, do you kind of keep up with teams where your
don't
kids?
Apologize.
But anyway, I will watch them a lot this year because they have 3 lottery picks on their team. But the point is that most people, college football is different. Most college football fans also like the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think basketball's that way. People who really like the NBA typically don't watch any college basketball because the product is so different.
It's completely,
And so, but like the high-level college football and the NFL, I mean, look, the NFL is a superior product because all the players are better. But the games don't look...
Games are completely different now.
Yeah. But the games, you can project, right, a little bit more than you can. Because sometimes you can watch a Jabari Smith at Auburn playing against Ole Miss, for example, and it looks nothing like what Jabari Smith will look like in a Rockets uniform playing in an NBA style. Like, it just... You can see, he can jump, he can run, he's fluid. I like his jumper, but I have no idea how his game would translate because the games are so completely different. Different shot clocks, different everything. Anyway, so to your point, yeah, I agree. I think it actually would enhance the exposure of some of those leagues that now we don't really keep up with because they're irrelevant from a national standpoint.
You may tell you when they're going to be relevant. They're going to be relevant in 2 times a year, okay? And fortunate enough, I've been a part of both of them. They're going to be relevant at the beginning of the year because there's going to be a group of 5 this year that goes on the road week 1 or week 2 and beats a Power 5 team they're not supposed to. Happens every year. And everybody's going to be the big story of the day. It's going to be Appalachian State beating Michigan.
Sure.
It's going to be ULL beating Iowa State, whatever it is, right?
Right.
And then they're going to be relevant in bowl season when you haven't had football in about 2 weeks. And you're watching the New Orleans Bowl, ULL versus Colorado State, and you're betting on it.
Yeah, you've got Colorado State plus 8.5, and it's a Christmas party that you'd rather not be at. And
you start drinking, and
you're 4 of those.
Go to the man cave and say that you got to watch this because you're going to talk about it on a podcast.
Yeah, you tried the eggnog, and you're like, it still sucks. Yeah, and so I mean,
yeah. But here, all right. So hear me out. That's a good segue. All right. So here's going to be the argument. I actually saw somebody say something that here is like, okay, now if you go to 16 games, or 16-team playoff, you need 15 games to determine where are those games held. Because the whole reason a playoff hasn't occurred yet is because these bowl people are very lucrative business people that are connected.
See,
So me and you have a little bit opposite opinion on this, but I'm okay with what you're. Yeah. I'll go mine, you go yours, and that. But I can't really debate yours. I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah.
I just want the damn thing to happen. I don't care. I'll sacrifice. But let's say you need 15 games, right? So obviously you have the national championship games in the neutral site, which has been forever now. Okay, they move it around Indianapolis, San Francisco, LA, wherever, right?
Sure.
All right. But then you take your bowl games. All right. So your semifinals roll with a big New Year's Six
cotton
peach, all that stuff.
Sure.
And then you rotate that. But you go all the way down to where it's the Outback, whoever. There's 15 bowls.
Sun Bowl.
Pick 'em.
Sure.
All right.
Okay.
You don't think, let's say the Independence Bowl. You don't think the Independence Bowl, instead of having 6-6 Alabama versus a 6-6 Iowa State, would like to have an Ole Miss versus Baylor first round playoff game?
They would.
All right. And the money that would be driven, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm not done.
I know.
I'm still tying in the bowl games.
I know.
All right. So now let's go all the way down to the Arizona Bowl. Instead of having South Alabama versus Air Force on December the 30th, and it's streaming on your local YouTube channel.
What's on ESPN because they just need programming. Sure.
Hey, now you got a 10-3 or 10-3 Oklahoma that lost in the deal to a 10-3 Utah in the Arizona Bowl. You don't think the Arizona Bowl would like to have that game?
They would,
and it wouldn't be more money than they've been making.
It would be. Here's my thoughts on this part. The first round game should be on campus sites. It's cool for the sport. It would be huge games on those campuses. You'd get huge crowds. You're not asking the fans to travel an extra week. And I think for a TV, it'd be better.
Yeah, I'm not going. If you say we can do the 16-team playoff, I would concede and sign.
And then here's the other part. Like people do the bowl thing. I would say that the 8 teams that lose in the first round, if they want to, can go play in a bowl game. The bowl games, look, the pick a Arizona Bowl.
Okay.
The Arizona Bowl is meaningless to everybody except for the 2 teams that play in it.
100%.
In this case, it would still be meaningless to everybody except for the 2 teams that play in it. And if the seniors and stuff don't want to play, it's cool. Let the younger kids play. Or you can just go, hey, that was our bowl game, and we're cool with it. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
My second argument with you, it's not an argument, it's agreeing with you. I guess my second agreement with you is bowl games are a joke now.
Total.
And here's why they're a joke.
A total joke.
And this is why this needs to happen, is because players are opting out if they're playing in meaningless games. It's become a thing now.
Of course.
And I'm talking about there are dudes opting out of bowl games that have no chance of playing in the NFL.
Well, look at the Corral debate last year when Matt said, I'm going to play.
Oh, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're playing.
And then and then the injury happened, and thank goodness it wasn't serious. But the injury happened, and people were like, see?
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah.
Right.
But it's a kid's decision.
Yeah, Christian McCaffrey
he was the first one.
He opted out of the Sun Bowl, and at first people were like, I can't believe it. And then they're like, I get it.
It was the start of a trend.
Of course.
It hasn't stopped.
If you're going to be a top 5 pick and your team's going to play in the Sun Bowl, I mean, I get it, man. You want to play for your team. You want to play for your guys. You want to do all that. But somebody at some point, my hand-raised guy goes, yeah, but Johnny.
You're 100% accurate.
Johnny, it's $30 million. You just can't.
If it was my kid, hell, if I was coaching the kid,
I know,
I would tell him, hey, let's sit this one out.
That's exactly what you do.
If I was the player, though,
I know,
I'd play.
Right. But that's what happens. Frankly, it's not the kid wussing out of a game. There's some time, and the kid at this point has an agent, okay? And he's got parents, and he's got people, and these people are all around him going, do you understand how much money this is? And when the adrenaline wears off and they get a chance to think about it, they go, it's too much money. It's to play a meaningless game.
I mean, I wouldn't say top 5 pick. I'd say if you're a top 2 round pick. Because remember, the top 2 rounds are guaranteed money.
Yeah. But if you're playing for a championship, it's a different thing.
Yeah, if you're playing for a championship, you're playing.
Nobody even talks about it.
Nobody's going to opt out of the championship.
And so this creates more championship-level games. And the other thing it does is it's a great example. because it was a great game in Oxford last year. There was a gazillion people and in the Grove and all that stuff. Ole Miss and Texas A&M. If you think about it, I don't want to upset anybody that's an A&M fan or an Ole Miss fan, but the game didn't really mean much.
Oh, that game's.
But if you have a 16-team playoff, that's a monster game. It is a huge game.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a game, and people watched it, and it was still cool, and Ole Miss people got excited, and as you should have, and all that stuff. But it would have had a far more meaning had you had a 12-team playoff, a 16-team
Instead of a
playoff.
regional game, it's a national game.
Yeah, and as it was kind of a national game, but it was just more for the fun of it. More for the Grove's incredible. Look at all the people, and Lane Kiffin, and all that stuff. Instead, it would have been like, hey, man, the winner of this game's got a shot to get a top 8 seed. The winner of this game's got a chance to host a first-round game. The winner of this – well, that's a far more interesting than, hey, this would be cool because the winner of this game's got an inside track to the Sugar Bowl. And someone goes, what's the Sugar Bowl mean? I mean, not much. What does the Sugar Bowl mean? I mean, it means a lot to the teams that are playing in it.
It means a lot to the fans.
But
people inside the building, they don't give a shit.
It means a lot to the fans. It means a lot to the teams that are playing in it. And I'm not saying that's insignificant. It is absolutely significant.
Yeah.
But the guy sitting back in Dubuque, right? It's just the game on New Year's Eve night, man. He's like, it's 8 o'clock. I've been drinking all day. I'll turn it on. But it's not, hey, the winner of this Ole Miss Baylor game is going to play Alabama next week.
Yeah.
Well, now it's totally different.
I mean, I think it's for the betterment of the game, and we've done. And then when the revenue goes up, now you start getting checks going to the Sun Belt. Okay, now you start getting checks going to Utah State. Now you start getting checks going, and so and I'll complete this whole deal is like for the betterment of the game. Now we talk about like you were just saying like a second ago. It's like, oh, is ULL ever going to beat Alabama? No, but you know what happens when ULL starts going to the college football playoff every year?
They're more attractive to kids.
More attractive to kids. And in the world we live in now, what else are they more attractive to? Other conferences.
Yeah.
And so you have an opportunity to boost your entire university and bring people up. Now, if you want, like, you wouldn't want UCF in a playoff. You wouldn't want to be matching up with those guys. Cincinnati won the American. You wouldn't want to be matching up with those guys in the first round unless you're Alabama. And then here's the other thing. Is a four-round playoff, things can happen. And 2 games, or really in a 1-game setting, you're going to give Nick Saban and Kirby Smart and those guys 4 weeks to prepare for 1 game. You're going to get the same guys over and over again in the championship game.
Yeah.
Ohio State. Well, we say the other day it was 3 teams. We felt that.
It's it.
And you get it. Just I think it creates more parity. I think it's
if I offer you a betting deal of, hey, you can have Alabama and either Georgia or Ohio State, pick one or the other, or the field. You're going to take You're going to take Alabama, Ohio State, or Alabama, Georgia. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah,
that's not.
Yeah, that's 127 teams versus 3.
So the flip side of that, if I offered you, who's your favorite in the NFC?
My favorite in the NFC.
We'll do a pro show another time. But give me. If I told you had to pick one team to win the NFC, who would you pick?
Tampa Bay.
Okay, so if I offer you the Bills and the Bucks, or the field. You're taking the field.
100 out of 100 times.
You're like, okay, I get Cincinnati, I get Kansas City, I get New Orleans, I get all these. Yeah, you're in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the difference between the two sports right now.
Yeah.
One sport is driven by parity, and the other sport is driven by complete lack of parity.
And the crazy thing is coaches want parity. Even the ones that are at schools that everybody thinks the schools at the big schools just don't want parity. Hell, they want it too.
It's best for their sport.
It's best for their sport.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I will give him credit. Some people think it's just coach speak. Nick truly wants parity in the sport because I think he has bigger aspirations of going to Dallas in the College Football Playoff Committee and being the commissioner. That's going to be my hot take of the day.
Oh.
Not breaking news. That's completely, I don't know anything. I'm just telling you.
So anybody aggregating, Tyler Siskey just said that Nick Saban's going to win the national championship this year.
Tweet it.
And then leave to be the commissioner of college football.
I'm telling you that's what's going to happen.
So I would be for the first 8 games being on campus, and then you get to the final 8, and then you play 4 quarterfinal games at bowl sites, which would end up being the biggest day in college football.
Oh, and
You'd start on the. I've been saying this for a long time. Start on the East Coast. Start with the orange or whatever. Play one in the Central Time Zone. Play one in Arizona or Las Vegas, and then play one at the Rose Bowl. Boom, boom, boom,
Let's
boom.
go.
Quarterfinals. People, be the biggest day. It would be the college football mecca day. And here's the thing. You'd still have all the other bowl games.
Yeah.
You'd still sprinkle in the Tuesday. What's the game in Mobile called now?
It used to be the GoDaddy Bowl. GMAC, GoDaddy.
Yeah, so
something.
whatever. The game
Mortgage.
in Birmingham, the Birmingham Bowl. You'd
Birmingham
still
Bowl.
have the Birmingham
The
Bowl.
BBVA Compass Bowl.
You'd still get, the 7-5 South Carolina against whatever. You still get that game. That game's not going away. You still play it, and the game means every bit as much as it meant before, which is nothing. But people watch it because why? It's football. It's December, and it's like, what else are you going to watch? You still get those games. You still get the Texas Bowl in Houston. You still get the game in Vegas.
Yeah.
You still get the games.
I think the Vegas game should be one of the. If we did the bowl games.
It probably would be.
Yeah.
But you understand what? You still get the Music City Bowl. You still get those games. It's cool. You get the other game in New Orleans, the R&L Carriers, whatever game. You still get those games. The people who were going to watch those games are still going to watch those games.
Yeah. Somebody said you guys haven't addressed conference championships, though. I think you still have them, okay, because that's how you get into the game. And so when
it would affect seeding.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about you have them like, all right, so Oklahoma, you're sitting there at 15 or 14, and you can't bitch because you're not in the playoff because you had a chance to win it the week before and you lost to Baylor.
But like last season, the SEC championship game was only meaningful for one team.
Correct. Yeah, but
so my argument,
it's not going to be that every year, though.
Right, and my argument would be okay. But like, let's say it's one loss Alabama and no loss Georgia in the championship game again, just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alabama, are they getting into the playoff with 2 losses? Yes, but they're not getting a home game.
No,
not getting a home game.
No, you're going to go on the road,
and so
you don't want to play.
And so is it meaningless for Georgia? Sure. Is Georgia going to try to win the SEC championship game? Of course. Kirby wants that trophy he wants that line on his resume. He wants that trophy in Athens. But the trade-off for that is that suddenly the whole country's watching the Mountain West Championship.
We had another one in here that, of course, we're going to have all the debate in here. 16 games is too many. You may be right. You may be wrong. They're playing 15 now. I mean, they're playing 15 now with 16 teams. So you go back to the FCS model.
I think he's saying 16 teams is too many.
You go to the FCS model.
Right.
Okay. And you play 11 regular season games instead of 12. That's what the FCS does.
Again, the players are getting paid now. I'm off that.
And there's too many. I mean, figure it out. I'm not going to let one more game. Like, I'm not, man, God, we can't let them play one more regular season game, or we can't let them play one more football game. Determine. I mean, it's driven by money, man.
Sure, it is.
This is a multi-billion-dollar decision.
Well, that's been proven now.
All right, yeah.
Right. Look at the contract today with the Big
Ten. Do you know how
it.
big the play? Like, if ESPN, how about this? The playoff committee goes this. I mean, I'll ask you this: College Football Playoff Committee. They say we're going to have a 16-team tournament, and we're going to bid this whole tournament out to networks. You get every game. How much money are they getting?
Oh, I mean,
just for those 15 games.
Well, I think the smarter move would be to do what the Big Ten did: have multiple media partners.
Yeah, whatever. But how much money they get for 15 games?
A ton.
I bet they get.
I don't know the number.
I mean, it's insane. I mean, we're talking about insane amount of money.
Yeah, I mean, too much money for you.
Too much money to be worried about one football game.
I'd have to talk to people about it. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think you would do multiple media partners.
I mean, they're not 40-year-old guys out there playing either.
But you'd make them ante up, and so no, it'd be legit.
I'm passionate about it. If you can't tell.
Well, I mean, I think it would enhance the sport because sometimes, like look, if you're covering a 7-4. And 7-4 teams would still be meaningless. But now, an SEC team, once they lose twice,
they're meaningless now. And I know this is going to be probably popular with some of your people. If you're 6-6, your ass doesn't belong in a bowl game.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Well, I don't.
And I've been on plenty of 6-6 teams. You don't belong. That's not a successful season. All right. You do this to win.
But we're not getting rid of those games. But we're still having those.
I think they should.
But ESPN would go, no, you don't understand, Tyler. We've got to put something on the screen.
Yeah, they make money.
So it's fine.
But that's my opinion. Buy you a cup of coffee the next time you drive through Anniston, Alabama.
Or you could buy a rain. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. Walk-On's Sports Bistro will be joining us as an advertiser September 1. So welcome to them.
How about that?
How about that?
I'm a big fan, by the way.
I know you are.
Like, crush it. I single-handedly, I think, pay for people's salary eating there. I love it.
So next time you're in Oxford, stop by Walk-On's, grab you a lunch or a dinner, a beer, appetizer, all of the above. Madison, Mississippi as well. And tell the people there that you appreciate them sponsoring McCready and Siskey.
I forgot to tell you this. I don't know if we can talk about this on air, but we'll do it anyway. I was
like, we're on the air.
Oh yeah. Was talking with, I mean, it's no big deal. Was talking to the Oklahoma coaches this morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, Walk-On. I said, yeah, I think Walk-Ons is coming on, all that stuff. And he's like, dude, we got to talk to somebody. They love Walk-Ons, and now a lot of people have displaced around where a Walk-Ons was located, and now they're in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah. Like
there's a new staff, and it's like, hey, is there any way we can talk to get a Walk-Ons built out here in Norman? They're all like, they really want one real bad.
I love Walk-Ons. It's terrific.
I love it too.
Yeah, I do too. Even if it's just to go in there and have a beer and watch a game for a minute.
It's good for everything.
Yeah.
Great desserts, by the way.
They do have really good desserts.
Beignets.
Yeah.
I'm a big beignet guy.
It's a guilty pleasure. And obviously, I don't do this often, but they have phenomenal fried cheese. The mozzarella.
Yeah, dude.
It's so good.
The burgers.
A lot of people don't do that well.
Yeah, I go the cheese sticks. I'll rotate my burgers around a little bit, and then I'm going with the beignets when I go in there. And then I'm going to they come to ask me for my drink order, and I say the largest glass of draft beer that you have, please. I don't know who's a sponsor or not, so I won't tell you what brand I.
What's your go-to draft?
All right, so I rotate. I rotate between Bud Light, Coors Light, and Miller Lite. I just rotate around. I'll get tired of one, go to the next one.
If I taste tested you blind, would you know which one's which?
Absolutely, 100%. Okay. Not even a question. I could probably smell them and tell you the difference.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a Bell's Two Hearted.
All right, I don't do the.
It's just an American pale ale. Bell's Two Hearted, fantastic.
I cannot.
Draft is amazing.
I cannot do the IPAs. I can't do.
Have you tried
Guinness? Yes, I've tried, dude. I've tried.
Oh, you don't like Guinness?
I don't like anything but American. Check. I like
domestic.
I like domestic, but I do mess around with Dos Equis in the green bottle.
Okay.
And an occasional Corona. But like if I don't buy Corona. If I'm drinking a Corona, it's the last thing left in the cooler at somebody else's house.
Speaking of Corona,
you're so smooth.
Nick Rolovich.
You've done this before.
Nick Rolovich was fired at Washington State last season, midway through the year, for his refusal to take the COVID-19 vaccine. He is sued Washington State for $25 million, suing them for wrongful termination. Rolovich is Catholic. He sought a religious exemption. He was denied. He still refused the vaccine. He was fired. He was in year 2 of a 5-year, $16 million contract. I've had this conversation.
I'm just going to sit back here and eat popcorn.
I was speaking with a legal friend of mine because I needed to talk about something else, and this came up briefly. And he thought that this case has a legitimate shot to eventually get all the way to the Supreme Court. And he thought Rolovich had a better than a coin toss chance of winning.
He should, dude.
With each passing news cycle, the argument for requiring an otherwise healthy football coach, or anybody else for that matter, you don't have to coach football. You can work at a Walk-Ons as a cook, whatever, or anywhere in between. Being terminated for refusing to get a vaccine that did not prevent the acquisition or spread of said virus makes no sense. And that's not a hindsight thing. The argument that many people made was, I don't need the vaccine. I don't need it. Why should I get vaccinated? I'm young, or I'm healthy, or I'm young and healthy, or I've already had the virus. I have antibodies. I don't need the virus. I don't need the vaccine. And people say, oh, you need to get the vaccine for the greater good. Greater good. Greater good. Okay. Now you got the vaccine for the greater good. You still get COVID. You still spread COVID. Why did all these people get fired? They shouldn't have been fired. My opinion, we should bring them all back with an apology, pay them every bit of back money that they do. Hell, we paid Ukraine, $82 gazillion. Pay these people. We got money. We're just printing it. Give it to them and go, and we're sorry. And then God forbid if there's a vaccine issue that comes up later, then we have a different set of problems. But Nick Rolovich should never have been fired. The only way he should have been fired is if you're firing him because you're like, hey, dude, you're just not winning enough. So here's your buyout. You're fired. Cool. That happens all the time, as you well know. It happens.
I've heard.
It happens. And that's a decision that a school can make. And you can say, hey, they shouldn't have fired this coach. They should have given him more time, whatever. Look, he had a contract. There was a buyout in the contract. You gave him the buyout money. You said, hey, we're moving in another direction. Sucks. See ya. Fair enough. That's life. That's a contract. Firing this guy for not getting a vaccine that he had a religious
he requested a religious exemption.
He didn't. Bottom line is he didn't want it. He didn't need it, and he didn't want it. And you determined as a university, oh no, you needed it. And it turns out that and I think this is valid. It turns out that the vaccine didn't work.
Yeah. So, I like when you get going. It's like kind of makes my day. You got my day back on track there. Thank you, Neal.
I'm here to serve.
Yeah, it's been a rough day, but you did it. So
I know it has been.
Full backstory. I was lucky enough to meet this guy and get to know him a little bit. So Darren Hiller, you've never met him. Darren Hiller, I coached with at Northwestern State, coached with him in Arkansas State, probably for about 10 years of my career was with him. Really took me under his wing early in my career and taught me. So we're real good friends. He's now the offensive line coach at Indiana. I think he's the best offensive line coach in college football.
Okay.
So when we left Arkansas State to come here, the guy that was getting the head coaching job here had to make some concessions to get the job. And so some people came as coaches and some people went other places. Okay. So Darren Hiller went to, I see you smiling over there. I'm trying to get you can't make me smile like that. All right. So Hiller gets the job. He gets with Alt, who is the pistol guy that invented the pistol formation with Colin Kaepernick and all those. He was out at Nevada. He goes to Nevada, where Nick Rolovich was the offense coordinator. So they work together. And so when we go to conventions or I go hang out with him, whatever, Rolo, we call him Rolo. I'm going to say that a couple of times. So if I say Rolo, that's him. I get to meet Rolo. He is the all-time fun guy to hang out with. I'm talking about the guy's never in a bad mood. He's the nicest person you've ever met.
Well, he was the guy that when he got the Washington State job, he went to Seattle and where there were some Washington State fans at the bar, and he hung out with them, had beers, and paid their tab. I mean, he was trying to build the fan base and get people excited about it.
First night I met him, he picked up my bar tab. I mean, just the night and didn't know me.
Yeah.
And so it became a thing to where, you get to go see your buddies at the convention. And so me and Hiller, we may or may not, I'm sorry, Mom, turn off the podcast if you get to this point. We always go a day early to the convention, and we blow it out the first night.
Right.
Well, Rolo always was with us, starting about 10 years ago. And that's really when I get to see him. Corey Batoon, who I think you know.
I know Corey.
Corey worked with him in Hawaii. He was the head coach of Hawaii, did a great job, won there, and now went to Washington State. Rolo did.
Right.
Great, awesome.
Corey's with Kane now at
Corey's
South
with
Alabama.
Kane at South Alabama. Mm-hmm. And so when he goes to Washington State, Corey came to work for Kane. All right. So, but just getting to know the guy, just a great human being. I mean, and then when all this stuff starts happening last October, I'm like, I can't believe my eyes. And I guess where I think they're going to win it, and I haven't talked to him since, so I'm not going to put any words in anybody's mouth. But I will tell you this, and I know this for a fact, and I'll say it because I'm not media. You may have to back your stuff up if you say something like this. I don't. There are some coaches out there that are at schools that supposedly there was this big push for everybody to have vaccinations and things.
Yeah.
And there were coaches in the Southeast that were told they had to have vaccinations or they were going to get let go, and they flipped them the bird. Okay. But because of whatever, they didn't get terminated.
Just kind of turned a blind eye to it.
Yeah, just turned a blind eye to it. So I just think I don't care. And look, I don't want, and I want to make this clear too. In my opinion, this isn't about vaccination. This isn't about COVID or anything else. I don't care if it was COVID. I don't care if it was an abortion. I don't care what it was. In order for you to keep your job, you should not be forced to do something with your own body. Period. It's your choice.
I'm with you.
Okay, whatever it is. If somebody said, hey, you got to get a tattoo to work here. If you don't want a freaking tattoo, you shouldn't be terminated because of that.
I'm with you.
And it's not about just, and I don't want everybody to think I'm not hung up on, because it was the vaccine or because it was this or because, no, it's about you force somebody to make a health choice so they could stay employed there. I think that's bullshit.
Well, I'm with you 100%, especially when history begins to show that it had no impact on anything.
But even if it did, let's say it was the greatest vaccination that ever lived, and everybody that got the vaccination lived forever, okay?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. If they don't want to get it done,
right?
All right, they shouldn't be forced to do it to stay employed. Like, I have a business now, all right? I have a bunch of employees.
Sure.
There's not a part of me that could go say, hey, you're not working here unless you get the, I have some employees that wanted to get the vaccine.
Sure.
I had some that didn't. They came to me and asked, because this was really hot button topic in our country, whatever, almost 8, 9 months ago.
Well, just 1 year ago when the whole Omicron thing came out, it became this it bubbled up again. And
yeah, and this is not, I don't want to make this a political thing. This is about, when they came to me, hey, do you want, it's like, hey, coach, I don't know why they still call me coach, but they do. Hey, coach, I'm going to get the shot today. Is that okay? Go, man. You do. And I met with them, and I told them, I said, hey, look, that's you. You do what you feel like you need to. You don't worry about me. Yeah, this isn't about our company or anything else. If you want to get it, go get it. And when they got it, someone didn't feel, hey, go home, man. Take care of yourself.
Of course.
Whatever it is.
Sure.
This isn't like, oh, you got the vaccine. You're not coming into work. No. And if they didn't get it, fine. I didn't care.
There's a question in the thread that's a really good question.
I'm trying to follow on. I'm struggling.
Is Rolovich, is he outspoken in his political views?
No.
Okay.
Hey, matter of fact, so Rolo is, you wouldn't even know, to be honest with you, the Rolo that I know, I would have, he's just a good old boy. It's almost shocking. You meet the guy, you're like, this is the guy that's the head coach at Washington State. Yeah. He's just an everyday person. He's the common man. And he's just so nice. Family's great. Everything about the guy is super nice. He's not a and he's, all the players love him, all that stuff. And then lost in this, and I know this is a big lawsuit, lost in this, there were other coaches that got fired at the same time. There were position coaches that also got fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so he wasn't the only one. There were several members of that staff that were let go the same day because of their, religious, issues with that.
This is one of those hot button topics. It's and you see the two sides are dug in, and the people that are pro-vaccine, they it doesn't matter how much evidence comes out. They don't care, and it's your prerogative. People like me, I've said this. This has been a year ago when the whole Omicron thing happened and the media went nuts and all that stuff, and it got it to, hey, you're not going to be able to go to a game. You're not going to be able to, and sure enough, and ironically, we basically got cut off from it anyway, but to cover the Sugar Bowl, you had to be vaccinated. I knew it was going to require that. Pissed me off, but I knew it. Where I'm angry at myself, and I've talked about that, we're going to move on. I'm angry at myself. When my girls were like, hey, this has become a thing, you could tell there was peer pressure, and can't go to a concert without it. This looks like it's going to be this way, and which one should we get? Every fiber in me wanted to go, you're not getting a vaccine. You don't need it. You've both had COVID. You're young. You're healthy. There are no young, healthy people dropping dead from COVID. You're not getting it. You don't have a responsibility to the nursing homes in nearby Fayetteville. You just don't. You're not responsible for that. I feel like I failed them, and and you know this. You know me pretty well. There aren't many things, and I'm not a no person. I very rarely say no to the kids, and that's intentional, right? Hey, can we go to so and so's house? Yeah. Can we go to this place? Yeah. When the girls
just the opposite.
when Campbell was a freshman, hey, can I go with my friends to Dallas for the A&M game?
No.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm like, oh, please, dear God, be safe and all that. But yeah, you can. Like last year, hey, Dad, can I go with some of my friends to the LSU game in Baton Rouge? Yeah. So when I do say no, they might not like it. They never fight. And that was one of those opportunities. It was an opportunity for me to go, hey, you're just not doing this.
You made me learn something as a parent today because I was about to ask you this question. Because so your youngest is the same age as my oldest.
Right.
All right. So I was about to ask you, do you struggle as a parent? Do you struggle when they get of age and telling them to do things?
Yeah.
Because your older two are adults.
Yeah.
Young adults.
Yeah. Yeah. But
because I figured I got 2 years left with this other one. I think I need more time.
Yeah, well, you'll always think they're not ready, and then they go off and they're ready. And you realize that, hey, you know what? Did better than we thought. Went better than I thought. Because when Campbell went off to college, I thought she's going to be calling home every day, needing stuff. It's going to be real needy, and it wasn't. She thrived. She did great. And no, your son will do the same way. I mean, but like with Carson, for example, like if he says, hey, I want to go to such and such. Who else is going to be there? We ask those questions, but the answer's almost always yes. And that way, when I say, no, I don't want you going there, I think something clicks in the back of his mind that goes, it's probably a good reason.
I learned something today. So I'll try to become a little bit more of a yes guy because I'm not. I'm terrible.
It strengthens the no. And I had an opportunity to issue a strong no, and I didn't. And I pray that nothing happens. And when I say that, I mean with girls, it's about fertility. It's what I worry about. It's what scares the hell out of me. Because one day, who knows? One day they might decide they want children, and if they do, hopefully that they can have that. It's not about me. For me, I viewed it like with me. I was like, I'm 51. I don't need it, but I probably have to have it to go to work, and I'm not worried about fertility anymore, for damn sure, right? So that was my thing. But anyway,
I waited. I mean, I don't mind telling. I don't care. Some people are like, oh, you're not supposed to talk. I don't give a shit. I didn't. I was kind of the same way. I wanted to go to some games. I had buddies of mine that were becoming head coaches, so I wanted to go to games, and I won't say the university, but I was going to go and be on the sideline and go with the staff and all that stuff with a team, and the university required. It was back in August, about a year ago.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Hey, you got to be vaccinated to access these areas. Are you vaccinated?" Yeah. So I knew I had to get vaccinated. I had made the choice not to up to that time, but then with my job, I was like, I'm going to have to go to universities, and that was a big thing. A year ago, every university you had to have it.
And you kind of felt like at that point it was going to continue for another year.
For me, it was my job, and then 20 other people depending on me. So I did it, and I thought the first vaccination I got, I felt like I'd woken up, and you took NyQuil too late or something. I was really groggy for the whole day. I got at 9 in the morning. I was really groggy, but fine after that. But the second shot, real talk, I thought I was going to die. And I'm not even joking. It's the worst I've ever felt, sickest I've ever been in my life. We can laugh about this now. It wasn't very funny at the time. My Fitbit, I'm a Fitbit guy. I've recently gone to Apple Watch. Not a sponsor, but you can be.
Any chance of Apple sponsoring us has disappeared on this show.
Yes. We just lost it. Episode number 9. Delete
that it. Was the one where Apple said, nope.
Hey, Neal, I got a call with Tim Cook today. Delete episode 9, please. But no, all kidding aside. So when my fever went up to 104.3 on my Fitbit.
Oh my gosh.
And I wake up and I'm shaking. I mean, I'm convulsing and I can't stop. And so I get up and go to the couch. And I was like, because my wife is a super light sleeper. And I was like, I just, so I'm out there on the couch in my underwear, laying on the couch. I mean, just sweating and shaking.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is it. I remember I had to self-talk. I've had this, that was the second time in my life that I've had to self-talk where I was like, this is it. This is how I'm going out. That's the second time I thought I was dying in my life. And I was like, this is it. I'm going out. And the one thing is good. You can laugh about it now. I couldn't laugh then, but I was serious. It's like, I was so pissed that the last image my kids were going to have of me was me, my fat ass laying on the couch and my, I was about to say the F word. I caught myself. Me and you talking, forget it on camera. Laying on the couch in my underwear. That was going to be my last, my son Knox. He's like, yeah, I remember my dad. And the thing he's going to remember is me dead on the couch in my underwear. And so I was like, and I was dead serious though. Yeah. That was going through my mind. Like that went over and over my mind. And, finally it came down or whatever. But yeah, and then when I actually got COVID, hell, I didn't even know I had it.
Yeah, I've had it twice. So the first time was nothing. And the second time was actually more nothing. Second time I just felt bad for half a day.
I'll never know if I have it again because I'm not tested.
No.
Ever again.
Well, I've never tested.
I got tested by accident. So because one of my kids was sick. Hell, they were fine, but you want to hear a funny COVID story?
Sure. So
my kids come home sick. This was right after the AFCA convention when I saw Rolo, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like come full circle.
Yeah.
All right. So, but I actually know who gave me COVID. We'll get in trouble if I say who gives me COVID because it's a joke between our two. I won't say who it is. There's a coach at Texas A&M. Gig 'em, go Chase. I know Chase is going to love this. All right. Gig 'em, go Chase. There's a coach at Texas A&M that called me and told me, it's like, hey man, I just want to let you know I tested positive. And I was with him for like 5 or 6 hours one day. And so I was like, I was fine. It was good. Well, my kids, that was like he calls me like on Wednesday. I'm already back. So Friday, my kids come home sick, and my wife tests them or whatever, like the kids. They're all fine. And I said, hey, I I kind of got thinking about things. I was like, man, I didn't really, I hadn't tasted anything or smelt anything today. And then I'm starting to think, I was like, let me test me and see if I'm fine. Dude, I popped. Okay, so I can't taste or smell anything. And so my wife, I won't say what she does for a living. I'll probably get in trouble around here. But my wife is a medical professional. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay. My wife is a medical professional. Smoking hot medical professional. Better throw that in there.
She's appreciative at this point.
Yeah, she's appreciative. I had to throw that in there. He's like, smoking hot?
Yeah,
like
sure.
Right. Brownie points. So she said, hey, let's do she thinks it's funny that I can't taste or smell anything. She's like, I don't believe you. Let's do a taste test. So I put on one of those eye mask things. First thing, she says, open up. She gives me a spoonful. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, a spoonful now. And I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it's something spicy. What is it? She goes, I thought you couldn't taste. How do you know it's spicy? I said, I don't know because it feels like my roof of my mouth, somebody has lit a match. Like my gums and the roof of my mouth were literally like heat.
What was it, cayenne?
She gave me a spoonful of cayenne pepper. And I was like, I said, what are you doing? She's trying to kill me and collect on that life insurance. That's what she's trying to do.
Yeah. You're worth more dead.
I am worth, getting close. But yeah, I was at that point in time, I was definitely worth more dead than I was alive.
Deshaun Watson, you upset about 11 games. It's a settlement. I think I see where they met in the middle.
I'm going to let you be the political guy. I'm going non-political when you get done.
Well, the 12th game, the game that he'll be eligible to play for the first time, is at Houston, where he played with the Texans before. And it looks like, oh, look at that. How convenient. And I want to go there because I like the conspiracy theory, and it could very well be the case. But if you do math, he initially had a 5-game suspension. It's a 17-game schedule. That's a 12-game gap. If you meet in the middle, that's 6 games. 5 plus 6 is, hold on, I went to ULM. 11.
If you're from Louisiana, you can't count. I'm from Alabama. We can't count. We're in trouble.
Yeah. So it's 11 games.
All right. So you know what that was? That was right there. Yeah. What you just said was they were in the NFL office like, what can we tell these fucking people so they will believe that it was just
but you know
11
what?
games.
But you know what? The more I think about it, I actually believe the NFL really wanted a 1-year suspension.
There is zero chance. You can't convince me that the 12th game of that suspension is Cleveland at Houston. There's not one person. I know how the NFL works. It's about money. That's the only thing they care about. It's the most money-driven, beautifully driven, by the way, machine in the history of mankind.
Oh, it's the undisputed king.
And you can't tell me that somebody goes, hey, I got an idea. Hey, Roger, look, you go in there and look. Here's what we're going to do. This is what they did. They took your story, what you just said. You go tell them this, okay? Yeah. Because week 12, that's what we can tell the media. And then week 12, we got Cleveland at Houston. Now, look, hey, Roger, listen.
But
nobody was going to watch that game. But guess what? It's going to be Monday Night Football. It's going to be the Sunday night game. It's going to be the game that week. And it's the worst game on the schedule on paper. But man, we got Deshaun Watson coming back.
Is it the worst game on paper that week?
I don't know. It's got to be close though, huh?
Yeah, it's bad.
I mean, that's not what you're putting on prime time.
No, and I guess my argument is by then that could be 3-7 Houston versus 2-8 Cleveland, and I don't know even then. Yeah, Watson gets you better ratings than he was going to get you, but I don't.
It's Sunday Night Football.
See, I don't know.
At worst, it's Sunday Night Football.
But what if you have Green Bay and the Rams that night or something? Or it's the
3:00 window, 3:30 game of the week, or Monday Night Football. I'm telling you.
Maybe you're right.
Let me tell you what. And with the trial balloon, they're going to float this out there, and if enough people get pissed about it, they'll stick that thing on Thursday night just to say, "Oh, you're right. We usually put the crappy game on Thursday night." They're still going to get primetime ratings.
Yeah.
It will be a nationally televised game. It will not be just regional coverage. Agree with that?
Probably.
Like, I have a feeling I'm not going to turn on and be watching the Saints or the Titans that weekend. I'm going to be watching Cleveland and the Texans at some point in time.
Yeah, could be. You could be right.
And I may be wrong. We've got 13 weeks to go, but
for some reason, I'm inclined to give them a slight benefit of the doubt here. Because look, it's the pushback on this guy playing at all ever is significant. Him missing a year was what most people thought that would be fair. Him playing this year, frankly, it's going to bring the whole conversation back. It's going to be some negative stuff. It just.
But it's the NFL; they'll fight through it. I mean, they've had worse.
They fight through anything.
Yeah,
it's like it's impenetrable.
Teflon.
It's impenetrable.
They make Donald Trump look weak, like Teflon.
They are.
Like literally, has there ever been any two entities on this planet that's more Teflon than Donald Trump and the NFL?
The NFL's more.
I mean, it's probably the NFL.
Yeah, not even close.
I mean, this dude just keeps on kicking, man. I mean, he's just. They're beautiful. Yeah. I was like, dude, they're great. No,
the NFL is it's a marketing
machine.
I mean, their uniforms look amazing. Everything that they do is
favorite NFL uniform.
Ooh. Okay, I've got a few.
No, you got to pick one, and it can't be the Bengals.
No, it's not the Bengals. I do like the Bengals all white look.
Hey, look, I'm going to hang on just a second. I'm going to write mine down so nobody thinks. All right, mine's written down in case you say it.
I got 3, and then I'll narrow it to 1. I'll tell you the 3 that are on my mind because 2 of them were on the TV at the same time last week in an exhibition game. Buffalo's home.
Okay.
The blue on white.
Okay.
The Colts road, white on white. Love it. Yeah. And my other, the Raiders home. The black on silver.
Yeah, I like Raiders home anyway, man. I
was actually debating which Raiders uniform I like the most. I think my favorite is Colts white. I'm not sure. I watched the other day and I kept going back and forth in my mind. It's really close. I like the Bills home uniform quite a bit.
Dude, yeah. I'm a Colts white all time. It's my favorite. I don't know why. It's real weird. I like simple.
Sure.
Okay. I like the Colts white, but also like in college, like I love Penn State's white.
Yeah.
You know, I love that white on white on white.
I love Auburn's white.
I'm partial. That was my favorite, but I didn't want to say that.
No, I do. I'll
Yeah.
say it. Like, it's funny. I really like Auburn's road uniform, and I'm not as crazy about the home. Like the blue on the white's fine with the white helmet, but it doesn't do for me what the road uniform does. The road uniform, when they wear the white and white and white, I'm like, man, I'm always struck by how much I like that look.
Can I get some brownie points here? I need some brownie points.
Sure.
All right, so I loved the Ole Miss gray, white, and baby blue helmets.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. And then I'm going to be in that minority here, but I loved it. And I was one of the fighters to try to get it done. We played Vanderbilt a couple years ago at home. And it was the Chucky Mullins game, and it was against Vanderbilt and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The baby blue helmet with the navy jersey and the gray pants. A lot of people hated it. I liked it. One of my favorites.
From a traditional throwback, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I don't know. I love and because I saw somebody say the Panthers, it made me think. I love the baby blue, navy blue on top of each other, like North Carolina.
Yeah.
I mean, North Carolina can have fun with some uniforms. But I know we're talking about NFL. It got us going on that. But, yeah, I would say I'm simple.
LSU's all white. Yeah, yeah.
He said our saying.
Yeah, it makes things move.
Yeah, that's our new slogan. McCready and Siskey, making things move.
LSU's all white is fantastic. I mean, it is fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's good. White helmet, like what do they call those things? The Nike. They had
like a color rush.
Yeah, but they had a name for those things. Combat. Nike Combat. They had like a thing when that came out.
Yeah. I can't remember when LSU wears the white pant with the white top, it's really, really good.
Hey, this was totally not on my mind. It literally just flashed in there. So one of the beautiful things about working at Ole Miss, okay, one of the most beautiful things was when I got here the first time, I mean, people would just call the office, and we had people that would answer the phone and like send you phone calls. Like Joe Random Fan would call somebody, and my office phone, which I never use, would pick up, and it'd be just some Joe Random Fan bitching about something, right? And I'm like, so I go out. This is the first time I'm here with Freeze.
Yeah.
So I go out there, and I'm like, hey, I was like, you got to deal with these people. I said, you can't send this to coaches.
Yeah.
So are you kidding me? So apparently it stopped. Didn't have another problem the whole time I was here.
Yeah.
All right. I come back. Okay. So I've been gone for however many years, right? Like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
I come back and I go and, good. And, we're moving offices and all that stuff. So everything's gone. So we go and play my very first game back. We play Texas Tech in Houston.
Yeah.
Okay. We wear these all white uniforms. Okay. So Steve Ruzick, who is now the general manager, I guess is his title at Auburn. He runs recruiting at Auburn now.
Yeah, yeah.
So he worked for me
because he was with you.
He was with me here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he was kind of like one of my guys, and he pissed me off one day. And Weldon's gonna laugh. I saw Weldon's name in here. If he's still in here, he's gonna laugh because Weldon ended up getting this job. We had one phone in that whole office. And whoever pissed me off, that was their office. Okay. So Steve had done something to piss me off. So I said, fine, you want an office? That's what it was. It's like, when do I get office? When do I get office? When do I get office? I said, well, when you progress up the hill. So he gets the office. The Monday after the game, this phone rings and somebody had sent it up. And some intern or when some new person sends it up.
Yeah.
And Steve comes in there. He's young. He's like, Coach, there's some guy that's really upset on the phone. And I was like, what is he upset about? He's like, he's really upset about the uniforms. Now, look, I'm trying to like evaluate recruits, or maybe at that point in time, I'm watching film of whoever playing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? He's like, this guy's like, he wants to talk to you. He's very upset. I get on the phone, and it's like some 97-year-old dude on the phone, and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know. This university's been around, and like I literally heard these words. Johnny Vaught, roll over in his grave. If he heard you, saw what y'all wore out there on Saturday, I'm never watching another Ole Miss game
until next week.
And so I'm sitting there. He's just going off.
Yeah.
He's just going off, and I'm sitting here going like, I'm looking like,
Hey.
what are we doing? And so I was like, and so I would try to talk, and he just kept going. And so finally I said, sir, hey, I appreciate you calling. I appreciate your concern. I'll make sure the right people know. And he was like, hotty toddy. Talk to you later. And that was it. Like those calls came up all the time.
Needed to get it.
But fans there was some pissed off people about the all white, and I'm like, guys, it's just a freaking uniform, man. Just a uniform.
Hey, whatever helps you recruit and whatever the kids want to play in. If the kids, if a particular uniform makes the kids feel better, let's play in that one.
But they don't. I mean, like it's. I don't know.
But
I did. I thought the all white was okay. I wasn't. I wasn't. It's very simple, very similar to the Colts look. It was. It didn't have the same.
The only thing I don't like about Ole Miss's white, I don't like the white pant. It's it needs a stripe on the side.
Did ours have a stripe on the side? Lane may have changed that.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Seems like
I guarantee you, there's somebody on this chat.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember.
Speaking of last thing.
Yep.
From your time here, one of the players that played here when you were here, Luke Knox, passed away, I guess, late yesterday. I know it's been a difficult day for you in that regards. A lot of Ole Miss people, the younger brother of former Ole Miss tight end Dawson Knox, who's now with the Bills, Sean McDermott, the Bills coach, opened his media availability today on a very somber note, talking about Luke's passing. I know it's been a difficult day for you. You've talked to Matt Luke and Ashley Luke and a lot of other people who were here when Luke played. I know you have some thoughts.
Yeah, I've had about 7 hours to figure out what I was going to say. So I'll try to keep it together. If I don't, we'll just end it. It's really hard.
It's okay. You don't have to do this. You had told me that you might want to say something, so I was going to give you an opportunity. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. I think most people understand.
It's sad.
It is. So it's horrible.
Yeah, I can't.
It's okay. Yeah, it's a 22-year-old young man, and he comes from a family. Look, if he came from the worst family in the world, people would still feel horrible. Luke comes from an absolutely wonderful family. If you ever got to meet Dawson, if you got to meet Luke, if you got to meet their parents, you can just imagine the incredible pain that people feel today losing the young man. Forget the football. Forget what kind of football player he was. It just doesn't matter. He was a kid who was probably best known at Ole Miss for his attitude and his work ethic and his effort, because he wasn't the most physically gifted guy out there. And yet he played as hard as he could, gave everything he could want, was a great teammate, and coaches loved him and kids loved him. And there's a lot of heavy hearts in Oxford and at FIU today. So our thoughts on –
I just hurt for the family, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a 21-year-old. I cannot imagine. Just can't think about it. Don't want to think about it. Our thoughts are with Luke and his family and all of his former coaches at Ole Miss, his current coaches at FIU, his former teammates at Brentwood and at Ole Miss, and his teammates at FIU as well. There are no words. We will be back on Monday with another edition of McCready and Siskey. Again, our thanks to the people at Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Appreciate everybody who's gone out and bought Rain, and hope you love it. I've become quite the fan. I've finished my can here. We'll be back on Monday. Tyler's actually going to join us by phone tonight. We're going to talk about the Ole Miss scrimmage on hand raise guys this evening. And, so it's a somber end, but, it happened and I wanted to touch it. And thanks to you for touching on it as well. So for Tyler Siskey, I'm Neal McCready. Thanks for being with us. We'll be back with you again on Monday. Until then, enjoy your weekend. Take care.